Welcome to Sales Team Rescue. This is episode number 91. I'm your host, Jeremy DeMerchant, and today we have another special guest. And let's get full radio voice for this one, guys. Linda Perry is a recovering attorney, master mindset coach, and business strategist who knows that the key to a successful business is putting mindset first. Linda works with growth stage entrepreneurs and helps them turn down the noise of their head trash and tune in to the signals of their business and find greater success. Instead of believing that mindset is a luxury or something that you'll deal with when you're finally successful, Linda shows her clients how to use mindset to create a greater advantage and be more intentional about their business. Linda has helped hundreds of clients give up their most limiting beliefs and adopt an empowering mindset through her Mindset First framework, group coaching and private one-on-one coaching programs, and through her Mindset First podcast. Linda, welcome to Sales Team Rescue.
That was awesome. Thank you to be here.
I'm super glad you could come. And it's funny because we got connected and things just happened for a reason. And we got connected like months, and I mean like, 6 months ago. And then something happened where I missed an email, but the link that you had submitted wasn't the right link anyway. So it's like the universe is like, hold on, wait a minute, not quite yet. And when we connected just a couple of weeks ago, it was like, boom, synergy. And just our energy around sales. I mean, I love your energy. And we also have the same birthday. So it's like
the best.
Right? Exactly.
Yeah.
So welcome.
Right.
So before I get all like fanboy on you here, tell our viewers and listeners a little bit more about you.
Awesome. Well, I'm excited to be here. And it was really like that when we first started talking. And I think because we both are so passionate about what we do and helping people really connect with their audience and make sales, be successful, that we kind of just got really excited about that. And it was definitely something that I really appreciate about what you bring to the table. I do not have a typical journey to my own business. I started out as a lawyer. I was a federal criminal defense attorney for 17 years. And I, hated sales. We talked about this. This is this funny part of our conversation of I really dreaded sales till about, 5 years ago or so in my life. But I ended up being a lawyer and realizing that as much as I loved it, it wasn't my passion and purpose. And so I ended up becoming a coach and wasn't really working with business owners right away because I didn't really know that that's what I wanted to do at the time. And I ended up learning everything about copywriting and marketing at the same time because most life coaches actually fail because they don't know how to talk about themselves. They don't know how to sell. They talk in these abstract ways of being. And so I learned everything I possibly could about business and realized that there was this gap in the business world that around mindset, because people consistently hold themselves back in some way or another. They sabotage, whether it's pricing, whether it's sales, whether it's offers, but they find ways to hold themselves back. And my job is really to help people get out of their own way.
It's such a huge thing. And like I mentioned in your intro, mindset's not something that you can deal with later. Like it defines every single decision you make, whether it's, do I sit down and get that work done I've been putting off, or do I continue to put it off and go and do whatever? And,
right.
And I've seen, for me, and I don't have it right here, but I think I mentioned when we spoke before that I keep a stack of a fake $20,000 in US money in front of me, so that it's just normal. Seeing that much money, it's just a regular thing. Just, the mindset part. It's just so fun. So I'm so glad that you're here. Now, one thing that we talked about before was how going from attorney to coach. And we talked a little bit about how, as a sales guy, I always thought that I'd be good in a courtroom, but I didn't want to do all the logistical stuff, all the detail-oriented stuff. But how did that prepare you? Like, how did it set the stage for where you're at now?
Yeah, I think it really set the stage because everything that I did once upon a time has come with me. What being an attorney, what being a trial attorney in particular taught me was about people. How do people actually make decisions? How can people be persuaded? How do they actually act when their back is against the wall? Because remember, I actually defended criminals or alleged criminals. And, you learn so much about how people come to their decision making, that being a lawyer was really transformational in terms of looking at business owners too, because the process that business owners go through in their own daily decisions is not dissimilar. And so I brought all of that but now with the knowledge of really how are we making decisions based on mindset? How is our brain actually stopping us from doing the thing that we want? So all of that kind of neatly came together into this place where now I'm helping people, and actually I'm moving into helping lawyers use mindset to improve their trial stuff. But it really came together to help people stop getting in their way, which is what every single one of us does in some form every single day.
I love it. I love it. So with entrepreneurs, the business
Yeah.
owners, what can they look for? Like, if is there like some like screaming symptoms? Maybe symptoms isn't the right word. It sounds a little harsh, but I guess is what it is. Screaming symptoms that kind of are indicators of mindset challenges or opportunities, if we want to be super tiptoey about it. Like, what's the first indicator when someone's got a messed up mindset about their success?
God, there's so many different ones. It just depends on where they're getting stuck. Little things like procrastination may not seem like a huge problem, or perfectionism, but the truth is both of those things have their root in their self-worth, right? So small little signs like that. Thinking someone's going to find out you're a fraud. Again, these are beliefs that I'm not good enough might be buried underneath. Money mindset has its whole pile of symptoms, if you will, or a whole pile of ways it's showing up. Maybe in terms of pricing, you find yourself cutting your pricing all the time. You discount yourself, right? And I hate the word discount. I always teach entrepreneurs, please don't discount. It's such a bad idea. In sales, you'll find yourself stumbling over your words, or, you dread sales, or you find yourself double checking your proposal and pulling back from it. All of these things are little subtle signs, or you spend hours in this worry cycle about what's coming next. And you start to make decisions based upon that worry and not really what's in alignment with your own vision. So you start taking clients that aren't necessarily the right clients because they have money, and you soon find out that money wasn't necessarily worth it because they're not your ideal. They're maybe a bit more of a pain. They don't understand what you do or value what you do. So all of these kinds of things are signs that there's something there that's amiss, right? And so particularly looking at those things, and plus don't forget the overwhelm, the hard worker, the person who is allowing scope creep, right? They're giving more than their contract because they want to make sure they prove their value. Those are all really some typical things that entrepreneurs see. And I don't want an entrepreneur to be like, oh my God, I feel awful because I have like all 10 of them. That's pretty darn normal, because we all at some point will do these things in our business, because that's just the nature of us as human beings. We're going to come up against some of these mindset blocks.
Yeah, that brings up so much. I'm going to try to stay focused. I'm like, my brain's going 100 miles an hour here. But yeah, there's so many pieces. And you've actually got, and I know people like stay till the end and we've got this great bonus for you, but I want you to like give our audience your goods right from the start. So you've got a free download that our viewers can check out. Tell us a little bit about that.
So one of the things that I did see is I as you mentioned, I like to work with growth stage entrepreneurs. What that really means is that you actually have a steady business at this point, but you're not able to grow. and you keep bumping up against all the same head trash. And so I created a book. It's an ebook. It's not a very long book, but it's called Unstoppable. And what it's designed to do is help you start to create the momentum to work on your own business, to grow your own business, because most often we neglect our business in favor of our clients and everyone else. And so that is my book. I love it. It's something that is really designed to help you start to break through some of the head trash that holds you back.
Awesome. And so this book
Mm-hmm.
called, I'm going to just, sorry for all you guys that are we're about to go beyond the PG-13. No. The title is Unstoppable. Get more shit done for your business by clearing out the head trash and executing a playbook for success. And what an awesome title. I love the title. Very clear and also impactful. And so those of you that are watching and those of you that are listening, you can go to lindamperry.com/unstoppable to download that free ebook. And I downloaded it earlier, took a look through it, and like pieces that, like you look at it and you're like, okay, yeah, like that makes sense. But in the moment, it's not intuitive. Like to be able to take what you share and apply it, you need to do it purposefully, intentionally. And I think that's makes such a big difference versus, oh yeah, no problem. I'll look at, and like, if you guys download it, when you download it, I want you to set time aside to go through it. It's 25 pages or so. Go through the content, read through it, and set time aside to make sure you've got the space to implement it, because this will absolutely change the game for you if you give it the space to do what it's got to do.
There are some resources and exercises that are attached to it. So it is a workable book, if you will. And I think one of the reasons I really wrote this too, and what I want to share is that more than not executing in our business, we tend to follow what everybody tells us to do, right? We say we have to do X, Y, or Z because the experts tell us, but don't really know if that's right for our business. And in particular, since you talk a lot about sales, that I see all the time. Well, I have to follow this formula for sales. And no matter how awkward it maybe feels for somebody, they're following it and they're stumbling through their sales and they're not seeing the results because they haven't really started to look at what makes sense for them or for their business. And so one of the really key aspects about this is, how do you create your own playbook? And there has to be room for experimentation. There has to be room for testing. It's like when you and I were talking about sales, I used to hate them because I'm sitting there following a formula and I forgot that it's really about listening to people. And once I could shift that, I was like, oh yeah, I get to just show up and be really present for somebody for half an hour, however long the sales call is. And that's really something that in my own work shifted my own mindset around sales in particular.
And that's such a great point with sales training and different coaching you get. Like there's templates and structures and scripts and frameworks that people want you to stick to. But the most powerful thing, yes, you want to be able to connect with somebody and you want to be able to find out what matters to them. But you can do that from a place that's just sincere curiosity and being present. I use frameworks, not scripts. And part of it is because I don't want someone going, oh, well, that's wonderful. Yeah, so based on that problem you shared, and then you lose it. Like nobody wants to talk to a computer. Computers don't even sound like computers anymore, right? Siri actually has a friendly voice. But it's because people don't want to have that conversation. So when the sales reps or the entrepreneur who's doing their own sales starts to sound like a computer, it just disconnects. And I would rather see people in a sales conversation go way off track but still be sincere and curious than beat themselves up for going off script and still have that relationship and go back for a round two. Right?
So true.
Yeah. So
love that.
I want to dig deeper with you in the way that you can support entrepreneurs even further. So the people that are viewing this right now live on Headspace TV, or on the replay or listening on the podcast. We've got a combination of business owners that are looking to launch and grow their sales teams. We've got large corporations that have larger teams as well. How, with those audiences, how can you jump in and help them with their teams, with the business growth itself? Tell us about that.
Well, first and foremost, one of the things that I think most business owners have to remember is that they have to anchor themselves clearly into their vision. And I think we don't spend enough time actually talking about vision. Daniel Harkavy, in his book, 7 Perspectives of Leadership, talks a lot about this, is that, and so does Michael Hyatt actually, is that we don't anchor ourselves often enough into where we're going and what we truly want. We may attach a dollar figure to it, right? We have to reach X number of sales, or if I'm growing a team, they have to produce X number of sales so that they really pay for themselves, if you will, because it can be really nerve-wracking to think about spending money to make more money. But the truth is that when you are super clear about your vision, that thing that lights you up every single day, you start to make better decisions. You start to really look at your hires and the people that are joining your team and say, do they align with my vision? Can they carry out my vision? Can they buy into it? Do they align with my values? And the more you can start to really examine those things, less likely you're going to operate from fear. So many of our business decisions, whether it's growing a team, whether it's expanding our offers, whether it's, growing our online portion of our business, we tend to operate from a place of limitation. We tend to operate from a place of fear, and we don't invest into our vision with clarity. And so we end up giving up the good for the great. And I encourage business owners, as they're looking to expand, as they're looking to grow, to really, first of all, look at how does this plan fit into my vision? Am I doing this because somebody told me I need to be doing this to get to the next level? Or is this the right move for my business? We don't ask ourselves enough questions. And I think as we begin to really root ourselves into a solid vision, that ability to go in the direction where we want becomes so much easier. And that's really the goal, because we're just spinning in circles. We think we're going in the direction of true north. And all of a sudden we wake up and we're like, heck, I'm in south. Like, where did I go? And so we really want to have that foundational piece really help root our decisions as a business owner.
I love it. I love it. I'm going to put that link up on the screen for your free download one more time here. Let's see if that pops up. Cool. There we go. There we go. Awesome. Okay. So lindamperry.com/unstoppable. Make sure you go and grab that. Now I want to jump in, Linda, to the lightning round. You should never give me a microphone. That's just silly. I have too much fun with the microphone. Okay. So
I love it.
You ready for this?
Yeah.
Okay. So we all know coffee is for closers. What is your favorite coffee or comparable drink?
I'm definitely a vanilla latte girl. I go the whole milk route. I don't drink it as much as I used to, but it is my favorite thing.
Gotcha. All right. What's the number one book or movie you'd recommend to sales reps or sales leaders?
I think in terms of getting out of your own way, I love The Big Leap, by Gay Hendricks. It's such a great book about how we upper limit ourselves, and it applies to every aspect of business and every aspect of how we show up in life. So that book is one of my favorites. I have a couple of them here. I have the Slight Edge, which I always love, because he talks a little bit about how do we create a slight edge in life. And if you're standing still, you're actually moving backwards. And so doing small little things every single day is moving you closer to your goal, rather than worrying about that big pile of stuff that we have to do. So those two are my favorite books. I happen also to be reading Limitless right now by Jim Quick, and I think it's such a great book. It's just blowing my mind in so many ways. There's so many things that I already do in my own life, but I just love his approach to using our brain in more efficient and effective ways. So I think that book is super great. So I'm a big reader. So those are so far right now my top three.
Love it. I love it. I've read The Big Leap. I have to actually look for the second one, and I've got Jim Quick's book in my Audible right now. So good selection.
So good.
Awesome. So next question is, who's someone that you've considered to be a mentor in your life?
Oh, wow. I've had a few. It's really interesting. I think I always go back to my mother. And she's no longer here. She's been gone almost 5 years, but she was a physician, and she was a pioneer as a woman in her field. And there was nothing that she taught me I couldn't do. And she was kind of weird because she was this physician who also loved tarot cards and read really sort of interesting books. And so she taught me you didn't have to be one thing, and you could be multidimensional and truly be authentic. And so she was just a badass and my mentor, and always pushed me to remember that the stuff that's inside my head, no one can take away. And so she was my mentor for sure. Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing. And I think some of those lessons are ones that, like, you can't place a value on it anyway. Like, it's just, priceless, but just so powerful. So powerful.
Yeah.
So thank you for sharing that. Final question of the lightning round. And this is the most fun question, I think. What is the strangest thing you do in your daily routine to stay on your game?
Oh man, that's tough because I'm kind of boring that way. Like I just have, I'm trying to think if I do anything strange. Like I don't. I sit there in the mornings. I get to have my wonderful cup of coffee. I read, I write, hang out with my dog, and then I go work out. But there's nothing for me. I don't do anything super strange, I got to admit.
Do you talk to your dog?
Well, I talk to my dog. Of course I talk to my dog. She's my baby. I would say my poor kids would probably say that I love the dog more than them, and have more pictures of her on my phone than the kids.
So it's like your dog is
thing.
Like your pre-work kind of pep talk, right?
My muse. She's my muse.
There we go.
She's really cool. Yeah. So
awesome. So we talked about the free download, but where can people find more of your greatness?
You can go to my website, lindamperry.com. You can also follow me on Instagram at linda.m.perry. And I also have my own podcast called Mindset First that you can tune into to listen to more of me talking about how to clear your head trash.
I love it. It's so great to connect with you. Is there anything that you want to leave the audience with? Any key pieces, key takeaways, or anything that maybe we didn't get to touch on?
Yeah, I think the one thing, why I say the words mindset first, I want people to remember that if you think of mindset first, you're actually setting yourself up for greater success. And what I mean by that is that we all know our mindset traps. We know where they're going to exist. We know we procrastinate, or we know we're going to be afraid of talking about money. But if we map these things out, if we see where our traps are going to be, we can start to really shift our beliefs or create alternate patterns and behaviors so that we don't get caught up in the same old stuff that's holding us back. So mindset first is really a little bit like a chess game approach, where you're always putting it ahead of strategy, where you're putting it ahead of everything else and thinking, how am I going to get stuck? Because if you are, instead of being reflective, proactive about these things, you're actually going to start to shift the subconscious patterns that have been there for decades. so that you can actually show up the way that you'd like. And so I think that's why it's so critical to think of mindset not as a luxury, but this thing that comes before everything else.
The foundational piece to success.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. Awesome. Well, Linda, thank you so much for being here. Thank you, those of you that are watching live on Headspace TV, those of you that are catching the replay on Facebook, or checking us out on YouTube as well. And if you are listening on the podcast, on Apple Podcast or Spotify, make sure you subscribe, give us a review. I'm a fan of the 5 stars, just saying, but would love to know what stood out for you about this episode. I'm shameless. I'll ask for 5 stars. Give me 5
I
star
love
review.
it.
Give me thumbs up. And it helps the algorithm. It helps everything. If you're watching on YouTube, like and subscribe there. Give me, hit the button, smash that subscribe button. That's what they say on YouTube, right? Smash that subscribe button. And if you want to catch the replay of this episode, links to all of our other episodes, and an opportunity to book a call with yours truly, if you're in a place to grow your sales team, go to salesteamrescue.com. I'm your host, Jeremy DeMerchant. This has been Linda Perry, Mindset First. She is phenomenal. Make sure you check her out at lindamperry.com. Get that free download at lindamperry.com/unstoppable. And we will see you right here in Headspace TV next Wednesday at 2 p.m. Eastern. Cheers, guys.